Sitaram, Namaste, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jamwant Maraj. I am the PRO of Knox Street Sports and Cultural Association, the group that is responsible for the Ramleela celebration in San Fernando. I want to give a little brief history of the Ramleela in San Fernando. Right now, this Ramleela started in the year 2000. It was the under the leadership of two pundits that we decided that how we are going to have Ramleela in San Fernando. Pandit Chetnan Maharaj, he was the one whose idea it was, okay, let us do something in San Fernando because Ramleela was always celebrated, okay, in the rural districts. And as little children, we did go to those areas and we said, look, we're going to bring it into San Fernando. So as a result, we ventured into the Ramleela celebrations in San Fernando, and it was very, very successful.
Sitaram everyone. We will begin today's proceedings with the opening prayer to be done by Mrs. Jones to the Association.
Right. There was interruption, two times during COVID. Of course, we did not have. And then afterwards, we reconvened after. And it has been going on uninterrupted. I will just pause a bit for the opening prayer.
उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारकं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपारपङ्कजम् ॐ शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभाङ्गम् ॐ शान्ति 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 हरि ओम्. We will now have our Ramayana Arti.
आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सिया पी की आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सिया पी की गावत ब्रह्मादिक मुनि नारद वाल्मीकि विज्ञान विशारद सुख सनकादिशेष और शारद वर्णि पवन सुत कीरति नीति संतत गावत शंभु भवानी और घट संभव मुनि विज्ञानी व्यास आदि कवि पुंज बखानी काक बशुंदी गरुड़ के ही की आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सिया पी की आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित
Check 1, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd now invite you to seat. And now we'd invite both armies to return to their respective camps. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege to welcome to the stage a dedicated advocate for education and youth development, a former principal of Naprima College, and a mentor to many, including our very own young coordinators of this Ramleela celebration. Please join me in welcoming the Minister of Education and MP for San Fernando West, Dr. Michael Dowlat, to share a few words with us.
Remember who used to do this?
Sitaram, I am very happy to be here this evening to celebrate Ramleela. And you know what is important? It's the amount of young people that we have here. Let's put our hands together and congratulate all of these young people who are learning about not just the culture of Trinidad and Tobago, but they recognize the religious values, and, you know, they learn other values. They learn about teamwork. They learn about how to collaborate. And so, as the MP for San Fernando West, on behalf of all the people of San Fernando West, I want to congratulate the organizers at Robin's Recreation Park here. And many years ago, I knew Robin. He taught at Couva Secondary. We played cricket with him. And I want to say that the traditions that have been carried on at this ground are ones that will allow our young people of the future to learn the kinds of skills and develop their character. So Trinidad and Tobago, I am assured, will be in good hands. I want to say that I look forward to this reenactment of that whole battle about good over evil, Lord Rama over Lord Rawa. And I want to say, too, that when I look at these young people, I see the talent of Trinidad and Tobago. I see the talent of San Fernando West. So I want to congratulate them. I want to say that may God continue to bless all of the young people, their parents who support them, for all of those in the community here who come out and create an event. We are grateful for you contributing your time, your administrative talents to ensure that as we look forward to a bright future, over the last 6 months, we have worked in San Fernando West to create more opportunities, not just for the adults, but for the young people. And this is one that we want to commit ourselves to ensure that this recreation park is enhanced and it can be used fully by the youth of San Fernando West, but especially this area. So I want to thank the organizers, and I want to say that I'm looking forward to the kind of display of character, the display of values, but more importantly, each one of these young people, I want us to appreciate their effort, the time they have taken, and for those who have supported them. So thank you very much, and may God continue to bless all of us. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin the divine chapter that unfolds today,
Let us recall the sacred journey that unfolded on day 1 of Ramleela 2025. Our story began with Lord Shiva and Parvati Mata's celestial dance, followed by the tale of mighty Ravan, a brilliant devotee whose pride brought suffering to all 3 worlds. In response to Dharti Mata's cries, Lord Vishnu vowed to descend as Sri Ram to restore Dharma and peace. In Ayodhya, King Dashrath's Yajna blessed him with 4 sons, Sri Ram, Bharat, Lakshman, and Shatrughan. As the young brahmacharis grew, we witnessed Sri Ram reveal his divine form to Mother Kausalya, reminding us of the Lord's eternal presence in every form. Under sage Vishwamitra's guidance, Sri Ram and Lakshman destroyed the fierce demoness Tarika, redeemed Ahilya Mata with his divine touch, and journeyed onward onto the kingdom of Mithila. There, destiny took its course as Sri Ram and Sita first laid eyes upon each other, their souls united in silent devotion. At the Grand Swayamvar, Sri Ram lifted and broke Lord Shiva's mighty bow, winning Sita's hand, and even Parshuram himself bowed before his divinity. The day ended in joy and splendor with the sacred weddings of the 4 royal couples, a celebration of love, dharma, and divine union. We see the princes move on from the brahmachari stage to the grihastha stage today. Let's once more applaud our incredible cast for bringing these sacred moments to life. And now we invite you to join us for day 2 of Ramleela 2025 as the timeless story continues to unfold. We invite both our armies to do 2 jumps.
Today, we begin our reenactment in the kingdom of Ayodhya. King Dashrath loved all his 4 sons, but he had a special affection for Sri Ram. This was not out of partiality, but because Sri Ram embodied every royal quality that a true ruler must have: truthfulness, compassion, valor, humility, and above all, steadfast adherence to dharma. However, as King Dashrath grew old, he wished to pass the rulership of the kingdom to Sri Ram. He consulted with his guru for his guidance. With his revered guru's advice and the approval of his ministers, King Dashrath made the decision to crown Sri Ram as the Prince Regent. Vasishtha Muni was then sent by King Dashrath to summon Sri Ram into the palace. When Sri Ram arrived, King Dashrath informed him of the decision to crown him as the Prince Regent of Ayodhya. At once, Sri Ram's first thought was not of pride or personal honor, but of his 4 brothers. He thought that all 4 of them have shared every event in their lives together, and that such a moment should have also been shared. However, Sri Ram humbly bowed his head in acceptance, as he knew he could not disobey his father's wish. And he said, "I am duty-bound to carry out your orders, whatever they may be." Then there was joy and happiness in the kingdom of Ayodhya as they prepared for the coronation of Sri Ram. To celebrate this, we will now have a dance by Miss Sanvi Maharaj, a standard 5 student of St. Peter's Primary School. She has been learning and performing Indian classical dance for over 3 years. Today, Sanvi will be dancing to the song Yug Ram Raj Ka Aayega. The song celebrates the joyous occasion and the eager anticipation of the people of Ayodhya for the fair and just ruling of Sri Ram. It is a celebration of victory over righteousness. Victory of righteousness and devotion.
रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम 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 भज प्यारे तू सीताराम अयोध्या अयोध्या ए मेरे प्यारे राम बोलो जय जय श्री राम अयोध्या ए मेरे प्यारे राम बोलो जय जय श्री राम हमारी आंखों के तारे हैं प्रभु राम बोलो जय जय श्री राम युग राम राज का आ गया शुभ दिन ये आज का आ गया हुई जीत सनातन धर्म की घर घर भगवा लहरा गया जागा है अवध का भाग जी गूंजा है विजय का राग जी योगी संतों की अखियों से झलका है प्रेम अनुराग जी सज धज के
Queen Kekehi had as her companion a woman called Mantara. This woman has a hunchback and had lived in the palace for years, often feeding Queen Kekehi with sly words. When she learned of Sri Ram's coronation, she became envious and angry. She immediately hobbled to the queen's room and exclaimed, "Rise, rise, old foolish woman! A great misfortune is rising to drown and swallow you! Rise at once! You are being betrayed!" Kekehi rose and asked gently, "Why are you so upset, Mantara?" Mantara then told her about the intended coronation of Sri Ram and that her son Bharat will never have the opportunity to become king. Kekehi, who considered Sri Ram her own son, replied, "It will flourish under his rule." On hearing these words, Mantara became even angrier. She kept on filling the queen's mind with doubts and uncertainties about Sri Ram's suitability as king. "Do you not see? Once Ram becomes king, Kausalya will be honored as queen mother. You will be nothing, foolish woman. Bharat will live in Ram's shadow, stripped of his dignity. When Ram sits on the throne, who will remember you or your son? Think, foolish queen. Do you want to live as a slave in this palace, your own palace?" Eventually, Queen Kekehi crumbled under Mantara's influence and decided to go to the king and ask for her boons. King Dashrath had granted 2 boons to Queen Kekehi, that he will grant her anything she asks for. Mantara advised, demand firstly that Bharat be king, and secondly, that Ram be banished to the forest for 14 years. On Mantara's advice, Queen Kekehi went immediately into the Kumbhavan, the room in the palace where the queens would go if they had a problem. When King Dashrath heard that Kekehi Ma was in the Kumbhavan, he quickly made his way there. He was perplexed as to why his favorite queen would be so distraught. The king saw that Queen Kekehi was crying, and no matter how hard he tried, he could not make her smile. He asked her, "Oh, my beloved, what is it that troubles you so much? Please tell me, and I shall do everything in my power to make it better." At last, Queen Kekehi told the king, "You once granted me 2 boons. I claim that now. First, let Bharat be crowned king regent. Second, let Rama be banished to the forest for 14 years. The king was thunderstruck and he fell unconscious. On regaining his consciousness, he exclaimed, "Oh Queen, what wrong has Ram done to you? He treats you as his mother. Who has poisoned your mind with such cruelty? On what pretext can I banish Ram? I can't lose anything but not my Ram. I beg of you. O Queen, expel from your mind this evil thought. Ask me for wealth, for kingdoms, for my very life, but not this. But Kekehi's heart, once so loving, was hardened by Mantra's poison. She remained unmoved. King Dashrath pleaded again and again, but she remained steadfast in her request. Bound by his own word of honor, the king had no choice but to consent and grant the two boons to the queen. Sri Ram was then summoned to the Kumbhavan. On Ram's entry to the Kumbhavan, King Dashrath, broken with sorrow, told him of Kekehi's demands. Sri Ram's face remained calm, and without hesitation he bowed. Father, do not grieve. Your word must be kept. I will gladly go to the forest for 14 years. Sri Ram then went to relay his decision to Sita Mata and Lakshman Bhaiya, taking his father's blessing.
Sri Ram then recounted the king's command to Sita Mata and Lakshman Bhaiya. Despite his suggestion that she remain behind, Sita Mata insisted that she go with Sri Ram. Where my husband goes, there I go. How can I remain amidst luxuries while you endure hardship? The forest shall be heaven for me if I am with you, and a palace without you would be but a prison. Lakshman Bhaiya also refused to be left behind, saying, Brother, I cannot remain in Ayodhya while you wander in the forest. I will serve both you and Sita as a humble attendant. Permit me to wield a bow and guard you. Sri Ram accepted after their persistence, and thus the three set off to pay their respects to their three mothers and Princess Urmila before leaving the city of Ayodhya. They first bid goodbye to Kaushalya Ma, then to Kekehi Ma, and finally to Sumitra Ma. Lakshman Bhaiya also bid goodbye to his Dulhan, Urmila, before all three left the city of Ayodhya. As they departed, the entire city of Ayodhya wept. Men, women, and children followed the chariot, unwilling to let their beloved Sri Ram, Sita Mata, and Lakshman Bhaiya go. As they journeyed through the forest, we will now take a look at what is going on in King Dashrath's mind.
We're learning the upcoming scenes that in life, every action, whether born of haste or ignorance, carries its weight. King Dashrath's sorrow reminds us that even the noblest hearts can suffer from a single moment of misjudgment. Let us learn to act with patience, awareness, and compassion. For once a deed is done, it echoes through life.
Ladies and gentlemen, while we await the other scene, we just have a few announcements. The Sri Sevak Sabha of the Krishna Mandir in Todd Street invites you all to their Diwali dinner that will be held on Saturday, 11th October 2025, starting at 5 p.m. in the Krishna Mandir's annex. There will be live entertainment and dinner will be served at 6 p.m. All proceeds will go to charity and to the maintenance of the annex. Parking will be available at the San Fernando West Secondary School on Forest Street. Please attend. There will be door prizes and hot seats. A contribution of $250 will be needed. Sudden Supplies Limited also invites you to their Diwali celebration, also being held on 11th October 2025 at 6 p.m. in the SSL car park, number 40 to 44 Sutton Street, San Fernando. There will be entertainment by the Susan Mohik Dance Company and RG the Band, as well as a lot more singing, dancing, steel pan, tassa, and fun attractions, prizes, and games for one and all.
लक्ष्मण जैसा भाई चली जानकी बनकर अपनी प्रीतम की परछाई नर नारी पशु पंछी सबका मन अखलाता छोर चले मुख मोर चले आज हमारे राम अयोध्या छोर चले आज हमारे राम अयोध्या छोर चले
As they departed, the entire city of Ayodhya wept. Men, women, and children followed the chariot, unwilling to let their beloved Sri Ram, Sita Mata, and Lakshman Bhaiya go.
देखा कर री गैया वैसी ही रो रो कर देखी राम लखन को मैया माया ममता महल मोहिन सबसे नाता तोर चले मुख मोर चले आज हमारे राम अयोध्या चोर चले चोर चले आज हमारे राम अयोध्या चोर चले
Pilgrimage. As they went from holy place to holy place, Shravan described the beauty of the temples and the scenery to his parents. A true, dutiful, devoted son he was. At last, they reached the banks of the sacred river Sarayu. Weary from travel, they decided to rest. Shravan placed the baskets under the shade of a large tree and went to the river to bathe and fetch water for his parents. At that precise moment, a young King Dashrath was on a hunting expedition very close to the banks of the Sarayu River. Shravan then took his last breath. Young King Dashrath, shaken with grief, then took the water to his parents and attempted to give it to them. They did not want to speak for fear of revealing himself. The parents refused to take the water until they had heard the sound of Shravan's voice. All the king's attempts had failed. He eventually told them what had happened and asked for their forgiveness. The parents were unable to bear the thoughts of losing their beloved son, telling the king that they cannot live without Shravan, and cursed him. We cannot live without our son. Just as we die now from separation from him, so too shall you one day die in agony, separated from the son you love most. Many years later, the curse placed on King Dashrath by Shravan Kumar's parents came true. Sri Ram's exile proved too great for Dashrath's heart to bear, and he died longing for his son. This scene shows that in life, every action, whether born of haste or ignorance, carries its weight. King Dashrath's sorrow reminds us that even the noblest hearts can suffer from a single moment of misjudgment. Let us learn to act with patience, awareness, and compassion, for once a deed is done, its echo lives on. A hearty round of applause for our cast and the depiction of this emotional scene.
As the occupants of Ayodhya lay asleep, Sri Ram, Lakshman Bhaiya, and Sita Mata quietly departed and began their travels through the forest. At dawn, when the people of Ayodhya awoke, they found their beloved princes and princess gone. Some lamented, "Where is Ram? Who is our king to be? Where is Sita Mata? Where is Lakshman, our protector?" A cry of grief had spread through the city. Unable to bear the emptiness of their departure, the citizens returned to the city of Ayodhya with their hearts broken. Sri Ram, Sita Mata, and Lakshman Bhaiya continued on their journey through the forest, where they would meet many wonderful and not so wonderful people. While Sri Ram, Sita Mata, and Lakshman Bhaiya were on their journey, they first met Guha. Guha was the chief of the Nishads and had learnt about the travels of Sri Ram, Lakshman, and Sita Mata through the forest. He graciously welcomed them, saying, "O Prince, regard this land as your own. It is indeed our great fortune that you honor us with your presence. Stay with us for the 14 years. We shall guard you, feed you, and serve you with joy. Accept my hospitality, I beg you." Sri Ram then embraced Guha and said, "Bhaiya, I know how deep your love is. However, I am bound by my vows not to accept lavish treatment. I have come here to dwell in the forest for 14 years, not to enjoy luxuries. Guha insisted that Sri Ram, Lakshman and Sita Mata at least spend one night with them and accept his humble hospitality. Thus, they accepted Guha's pledge and they spent the night in the forest under the watchful eyes of Guha and his nishads. Under Guha's watchful eyes, the princes and the princess were fed yummy fruits, given water to drink, and were afforded the best comforts. After eating and drinking after their long travels, everyone went to sleep.
At dawn the next morning, Sri Ram, Lakshman Bhaiya and Sita Mata prepared to leave Guha's land and were taken to the river Ganga by Guha and the Nishads. There, he introduced them to the boatman Kewat, a humble yet devout man. When Ram approached to board, Kewat folded his hands and hesitated. Kewat refused to allow Ram to enter his boat. He said, "Prabhu, I have heard that the touch of your feet turned the stone into a woman. What would happen if your feet touched my boat? This is my only source of livelihood. For you to enter my boat, I must first wash your feet." So saying, Kewat washed the feet of Sri Ram and allowed him to enter onto his boat. Having washed the Lord's feet and drinking the water, Kewat allowed him to enter the boat. He took along with him Sita Mata and Lakshman across the river Ganga.
मेरे राघव जी उतरेंगे पार गंगा मैया धीरे बहो मेरे राघव जी उतरेंगे पार गंगा मैया धीरे बहो मेरे राघव जी उतरेंगे पार गंगा मैया धीरे बहो मेरे राघव जी उतरेंगे पार गंगा मैया धीरे बहो ओ मैया धीरे बहो मैया धीरे बहो
A round of applause for our young and very able-bodied Kewat.
मैया धीरे बहो
As they reached halfway across, Sita asked the boatman Kewat to stop the boat. Here, she made offerings to Ganga Mata to ensure their safe return after their 14 years of banishment.
ओ मैया धीरे बहो
They soon crossed to the opposite bank of the sacred river Ganga, where Sri Ram, Lakshman and Sita continued their journey into the deep forest, earning the love, admiration and devotion of every villager, rishi and muni they encountered along the way.
As they continued searching for an ideal location to settle down, they came upon the ashram of sage Valmiki. The great sage immediately recognized Sri Ram's true divinity and extolled his virtues. The sage asked, "O Ram, know of Dharma. Your very presence sanctifies the world. Tell me, how may I assist you?" Sri Ram then requested the sage's advice as to where the three of them should dwell. The sage responded, "Tell me first the place where you are not, and then alone I can show you a suitable place," as he knew that Sri Ram, the embodiment of Vishnu Bhagwan, resided everywhere. After describing in great detail the places where the true divine Lord resides, in the heart of the righteous, in the mind of the devotee, in the tears of the repentant, in the songs of the humble, and in the silence of sages, he directed Sri Ram, Lakshman Bhaiya, and Sita Mata to the Chitrakoot hill, where the holy Mandakini river was running nearby. The only thing he asked for was Sri Ram's blessings, that he would have full devotion to the Lord's feet at all times. After Sri Ram bestowed this blessing, he left with Sita Mata and Lakshman Bhaiya in search of the said Chitrakoot hill. On arrival at Chitrakoot Hill, Sri Ram and Lakshman Bhaiya built a simple hut of leaves and woods. There, surrounded by nature's beauty and the holiness of the river Mandakini, they began their life of exile.
At the time of King Dashrath's death, Bharat and Shatrughan were at their grandfather's home in Kekaya. On learning of the death of their father, they immediately rushed home to Ayodhya. On arriving, they also learned about the banishment of Sri Ram. When he was told of the circumstances surrounding Sri Ram's exile, Bharat became angry and exclaimed to Queen Kekayi, "What have you done? After causing the death of the king and the banishment of Ram, you ask me to take their place? You want me to rule in his place? How can you utter such words? How can you ask one of my standing to accept what belongs to another, one far nobler and more worthy than I? I will leave at once to locate Ram and Lakshman. I will return with them to the city of Ayodhya, and I shall see to it myself that Ram is crowned king." Driven by unwavering devotion to justice, Bharat and his army marched deep into the forest to bring Sri Ram back to his rightful throne.
As Sri Ram, Lakshman Bhaiya and Sita Mata were sitting atop a hill, they saw in the distance a cloud of dust in the sky, which seemed to be moving closer and closer toward them. To get a better look, Lakshman Bhaiya climbed up a tree and saw a large army approaching them. At the head of this army was Bharat, who Lakshman Bhaiya immediately recognized. He said to Sri Ram, "Oh brother, Bharat and his army are approaching. It seems he's not satisfied with the kingdom. He's now pursuing us." Lakshman Bhaiya was angry and eager for battle. But Sri Ram, knowing Bharat's intentions, calmed him down, saying, "Do not fear, Bharat. I know why he is coming. He is coming not to destroy us, but rather he is coming to give the kingdom to me." When the army arrived, they stood at a certain distance. Bharat and Shatrughan then approached Sri Ram and Lakshman Bhaiya. Bharat then told Sri Ram about his father's, King Dashrath's death, and urged him to return to Ayodhya and rule the kingdom. Sri Ram became very sad on learning this news. However, he said, I cannot disobey my father's words. You go back to Ayodhya. Shatrughan is there to help you rule, as Lakshman is here to help me in the forest. With Lakshman at my side, I lack nothing. Let us all 4 brothers honor our father's will. Seeing that Sri Ram did not want to return to Ayodhya, Bharat said, O brother, you are my father and you are my God. Give me your sandals, which will reign in Ayodhya until your return. For 14 years I shall stay outside the city and discharge the king's duty. At the end of this period, you will return and accept the kingship. So be it, answered Sri Ram, and he removed his slippers and placed them in Bharat's open hands. Bharat took these very sandals, placed it on his head, and returned with Shatrughan and his army to Ayodhya. As he returned to Ayodhya, Bharat Bhaiya placed the sandals on the throne and ruled steadfastly and humbly for 14 years outside the kingdom of Ayodhya.
From Chitrakoot, Sri Ram, Lakshman Bhaiya and Sita Mata left and settled at another beautiful place called Panchavati. One day, a Rakshasi disguised as a beautiful woman appeared at the hut and approached the brothers and Sita Mata.
थोड़ी फुर्सत भी मेरी जा कभी बाहों को दीजिए थोड़ी फुर्सत भी मेरी जा कभी बाहों को दीजिए आज की रात मजा हुस्न का आँखों से लीजिए आज की रात मजा हुस्न का आँखों से लीजिए वक्त बर्बाद न बिन बात की बातों में कीजिए
On seeing the godlike features in Sri Ram, the Rakshasi was filled with an uncontrollable desire for him. The Rakshasi was called Supnika. She was the sister of the Rakshas king Ravan. She seductively approached Ram and said,
The moment I set eyes on you, I fell in love. Leave this puny, frail woman and come with me.
This amused Ram. He smiled and said, "Oh, beautiful one, I am unavailable. But here's my brother. He's just as good looking as me. Please, go to him." The Rakshasi took Ram's advice and went to Lakshman, who refused and sent her back to Ram. The Rakshasi returned to Ram, who sent her back to Lakshman, and who sent her back to Ram. The Rakshasi kept moving from Ram to Lakshman, from Lakshman to Ram, and was constantly being refused. The constant rejections angered her, and she attacked Sita Mata. However, Sri Ram intervened just in time to save Sita. Lakshman Bhaiya then pursued the Rakshasi, and a fierce battle ensued. As they battled, Lakshman Bhaiya cut off the Rakshasi nose and sent her running towards Ravan.
The Rakshasi, cradling her injured nose, ran to her brothers Kar and Dushan and complained, "Brothers, help me, help me! These two men in the forest have rejected me and cut off my nose. Avenge my disgrace at once!" Kar and Dushan then led their army to seek revenge on his sister's ridicule. On seeing the army, Sri Ram told Lakshman Bhaiya to take Sita Mata into a hiding place at a cave. Once she was safe, Sri Ram single-handedly fought with Kar and Dushan and the entire army, one by one. One by one, Sri Ram defeated them all.
A round of applause for the killing of Kar and Dushan by Sri Ram.
Upon hearing of the death of her brothers, Supnika fled to Lanka. She threw herself down in Ravan's court and reported to Ravan what had taken place. King Ravan became furious with anger and rage. He shouted,
"Who has the courage to embarrass my sister and kill my brothers? I shall take revenge." Ravan then went to meet Marich. Upon his arrival, Ravan implored him to help with his plan to kill Sri Ram. Marich had faced Sri Ram in battle before and knew of his strength and the might that he possessed. He initially refused to help Ravan with his plan, fearing for his own life. However, after much persuasion and against his wishes, Marich decided to help Ravan carry out his evil plans. Marich then disguised himself as a beautiful golden deer. This golden deer is a symbol of illusion to beauty and desire and the material attractions in this world. Its beauty was so enchanting that even Sita Mata, who was otherwise pure and detached, desired to have it, showing that even the most virtuous souls can be momentarily drawn by illusion. Thus, she thought of how wonderful it would have been to have this there. She pleaded with Sri Ram, "Oh Sri Ram, please get this there for me," and then sent Sri Ram in pursuit of this magical creature. Sri Ram chased the golden deer through the forest, and when he reached a safe distance away, Marich allowed himself to be shot by a fierce arrow. As he fell to the ground, he imitated Sri Ram's voice, crying out as if Sri Ram was wounded. "Sita! Sita! Lakshman!"
On hearing these mimicked cries, Sita Mata became frightened and begged Lakshman Bhaiya to go to Sri Ram's assistance. Lakshman Bhaiya did not want to leave Sita Mata alone, but he also could not stand to see her crying. Reluctantly, he decided to go to look for Sri Ram. To ensure her safety in his absence, he drew a circle around her, telling Sita Mata not to venture outside of this circle. This was known as the Lakshman Rekha. No one besides Sri Ram, Lakshman Bhaiya, or Sita Mata could cross this line. He then went to Sri Ram's rescue. Ravan then appeared at the hut, disguised as a beggar. He beseeched Sita Mata, asking for alms.
Bhiksham Dehi, Bhiksham Dehi. Oh, fair maiden, I am hungry and thirsty. Please give me something to eat or drink. I have not eaten in days.
Being a person of Sanatan Dharma and unsuspecting a trick, Sita Mata stepped over the Lakshman Rekha to give him some fruits. Ravan was successful in luring Sita Mata outside of the Lakshman Rekha. Sita Mata was then kidnapped by Ravan after removing his disguise.
At this moment, Jatayu, the king of the vultures, heard Sita Mata's cry and rushed to her assistance. He said to Sita Mata, Sita, my daughter, do not fear. I will kill this demon. Jatayu tried to reason with Ravan and to urge him to return Sita Mata and said, I cannot look on you as you carry Sita away. Why are you doing this cowardly act behind Ram's back? Why don't you meet him face to face? Ravan's temper flared after being attacked Jatayu. Jatayu bravely fought, ultimately knocking Ravan off his chariot to the ground. Undeterred, Ravan reascended his chariot, and with a thunderous vigor he soared into the heavens and returned to battle Jatayu. During this battle, Ravan cut off one of Jatayu's wings with a merciless strike. However, Jatayu bravely continued to battle in his injured state. Ravan then was struck again and cut off Jatayu's other wing. At this moment, Jatayu fell helplessly to the ground as Ravan continued on his journey towards Lanka. A round of applause for the battle between Ravan and Jatayu. Ravan then grabbed Sita Mata and continued on his journey towards Lanka. Meanwhile, Sri Ram and Lakshman Bhaiya, realizing that they were tricked, rushed back to the hut. There, they were horrified to see Sita Mata missing. Upon this sight, they set out to search every corner of the earth in hope of finding Sita Mata. They asked the trees, the animals for help, but still there was no trace of his consort Sita. Lakshman Bhaiya comforted Sri Ram, and eventually they set out again together to search. In their search, they came upon the fallen Jatayu, who told them that Sita Mata was kidnapped by Ravan, the Rakshas king.
राम कथा में वीर जटायु का अपना अनुपम स्थान राम कथा में वीर जटायु का अपना अनुपम स्थान तुलसी ने बड़भागी कहकर
After narrating his story, the brave Jatayu extolled the virtues of Sri Ram and asking of Sri Ram the boon of continuous devotion to his feet, Jatayu ascended to heaven. Sri Ram then performed his funeral rites with due ceremony and together with Lakshman Bhai. A round of applause for the service of Jatayu in locating Sita Mata. In this scene, Jatayu rose to defend Sita Mata, proving that courage is born not of strength but of righteousness. In a world where injustice, greed and cruelty still rise like Ravan, may we all find the courage of Jatayu to speak for what is right, to protect the innocent and to stand firm, even when we stand alone. राम कथा में वीर जटायु का अपना अनुपम स्थान राम कथा में वीर जटायु का अपना अनुपम स्थान तुलसी ने बड़भागी कहकर किया जटायु का यशगान राम कथा में वीर जटायु का अपना अनुपम स्थान.
After finishing the rites, Sri Ram and Lakshman Bhai continued their search through the forest. On their way, they visited the beautiful ashram of Shabari Mata. Shabari Mata was a very devoted and saintly woman, and after waiting for many years for the coming of Sri Ram, she felt blessed and overjoyed to see his divine form. She welcomed the two brothers to her home. After tasting different roots and fruits to ensure their sweetness, she humbly offered them to Sri Ram, ensuring that they only got the most delicious. She fed both Sri Ram and Lakshman Bhai. Pleased with her love and devotion, the Divine Lord then shared with her the knowledge of the 9 forms of devotion. The first step to devotion is to keep company of the saints known as satsang. The second step is to enjoy listening to discourses pertaining to the Lord. Selfless service to the Guru's lotus's feet without any pride is the third step. The fourth step is to earnestly sing praises of the Lord's virtues with a heart clear of guilt, deceit, or hypocrisy. chanting God's name with steadfast faith is the fifth step, as the Vedas reveal. The sixth is to practice self-control, good character, and detachment from manifold activities. The seventh step is to perceive the world as God Himself and regard the saints higher than the Lord. The eighth is a state where there is no desire left, but the gift of perfect peace and contentment with whatever one has. The final step is to have full faith in Bhagwan, becoming simple with no hypocrisy or deceit. He then blessed her and she directed them to the Pampar lake, where they would befriend Sugriv, who would assist them to find Sita Mata.
सीताराम 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 राम सीताराम सीताराम
As Sri Ram and Lakshman Bhaiya continued on their search, they were being observed by King Sugriv and his followers, who resided in the Rishamukh mountain. Sugriv had been banished from the kingdom by his brother Vali, who took over the throne. Sugriv sought refuge on the Rishamukh mountain, where he was safe from Vali's wrath, due to a curse placed on Vali by sage Matanga. The sage had cursed Vali because he had disrespected Matanga's hermitage on that mountain. Fearing that Sri Ram and Lakshman Bhaiya were messengers from Bali, Sugriv sent his chief minister Hanuman to investigate. Hanumanji approached the princes and inquired, "Who are you? Why are you disguised as Kshatriyas? You are treading the grounds on your bare feet. Please tell me, who are you?" Ram was immediately impressed by the courtesy of Hanuman. He recognized noble qualities and turned to Lakshman and said, "Look how wonderful this Brahman speaks. He is no ordinary messenger. The character and quality. Brother, the speech of Hanuman has inspired me. Fortunate is the king who has such a messenger." Sri Ram then turned to Hanuman and addressed him. "Hey Brahman, I am the son of Raja Dashrath. I am known as Sri Ram, and this is my brother Lakshman." Hearing these words, Hanumanji felt a thrill run through his body and his hairs stood on end. He discarded his disguise and bowing to his feet, he prayed for forgiveness. Hanumanji then took the brothers to meet the Vanar king Sugriv and his followers. Upon their arrival, the brothers accompanied by Hanumanji met with Sugriv. And on learning of the abduction of Sita Mata, he told Sri Ram, "My companions and myself noticed a huge Rakshas carrying off a weeping woman. She noticed us and threw down this bundle. Here, we took it up and kept it. Take this bundle." Sri Ram opened it and became quite excited as he recognized Sita Mata's jewels. Sugriv then related to Sri Ram why he was there in the Rishamukh mountain, how his brother Vali had put him out of the kingdom of Kishkinda and he sought refuge here in the Rishamukh mountain because it was the only safe place to be. Sri Ram, upon hearing his story, decided to help Sugriv regain the kingdom from Vali. They then made a plan to conquer the kingdom of Kishkinda.
Ladies and gentlemen, the upcoming battle between Vali and Sugriv represent the conflicts between ego and humility. Vali represents ego and pride in one's own power, while Sugriv represents humility, sincerity, and faith in divine help. Their battle is an inner battle within every individual, between our proud, self-reliant side and our surrendered, trusting side. When Lord Ram aids Sugrivs, it signifies that divine grace supports humility and not arrogance. On Sri Ram's instruction, Sugriv went to the gates of the kingdom and challenged Vali to fight. As Sugriv approached the kingdom, he held onto the gates and rattled them, calling out to Vali. Vali, on hearing Sugriv's voice, rushed out angrily. The two brothers then began fighting. An extremely fierce battle took place. Sri Ram was unable to assist Sugriv since the two brothers looked very similar and he could not recognize one from the next. During the battle, Sugriv was severely beaten. He ran back to the mountains where he met with Sri Ram, Lakshman Bhaiya and Hanumanji.
pace and props such that the performers do not damage themselves as they portray this great battle.
Sugriv was severely beaten and ran back to the mountains where Sri Ram, Lakshman Bhaiya and Hanumanji were. Sugriv was very angry that Sri Ram did not help him as was planned. He said,
Ram, if you did not want to kill Vali, you could have told me earlier. I would not have challenged him to fight. You made me believe that I will get help, and no help came. I am still lucky to be alive.
Sri Ram then explained that it had been difficult to distinguish between them. He did not want to take any chances in shooting. He then instructed Lakshman Bhaiya to place a mala around Sugriv's neck so he could be easily distinguished. Sugriv's spirit recovered and he once more proceeded to the kingdom's gate to challenge Vali. Vali refused to fight, telling Sugriv to go away. On Sugriv's insistence, they began fighting once more. During this battle, Vali was shot by Sri Ram.
Let us give a round of applause for Vali and Sugriv, beautifully portrayed tonight by two talented young sisters. Just as these mighty brothers showed strength and courage, these young performers reminded us of the incredible power, creativity, and the spirit of women. May their performance inspire us all to recognize that bravery and wisdom knows no gender. Let us hear it once more. Jai Shri Ram!
Sri Ram then offered to make Vali immortal, but Vali refused that offer for fear of never again having the blessing of having the divine Lord with him. At his last moment, as he lay dying, he said to Sri Ram, "This is my son Angad. He is my equal in training and in strength. Accept him and treat him as your own." He then breathed his last breath. Sri Ram then ordered Sugriv to do the last rites for his brother. After this, Sugriv was crowned king of Kishkinda by Lakshman Bhaiya. Sugriv instructed his ministers and army to assist Sri Ram and Lakshman Bhaiya to search for Sita Mata. He said,
Shri Ram, you have this entire army at your command. Consider this army yours and ask of them whatever you wish.
Sri Ram had full confidence in Hanumanji. He beckoned him and said,
Take this ring. I have hope that you shall find Sita. This ring will let her know that you are my messenger.
Thus, the search for Sita Mata began by the entire Vanar army. The Vanar army under the command of Sri Ram and Lakshman Bhaiya were then sent to the four quarters of the earth to find Sita Mata. With hearts full of devotion and reverence, we bring to a close the second night of our Ramleela 2025. Tonight, we witness the deep sorrow of Sri Ram and Lakshman Bhaiya as they began their journey in search of beloved Sita Mata, a journey filled with faith, courage, and divine purpose. But the story of dharma and devotion continues. Join us tomorrow night as Sri Ram continues his search and rescue of Sita Mata, meeting great souls, forming divine friendships, and taking us deeper into the Leela of love, valor, and righteousness. Let us feel the power of bhakti and continue this sacred journey together tomorrow for the third night of Ramleela. Jai Shri Ram!
बोलो रामचंद्र की, बोलो रामचंद्र की, बोलो रामचंद्र की।
हरिओम तत्सत। प्रेम से बोल सियापति रामचंद्र की, प्रेम से बोल सियापति रामचंद्र की। Sitaram, everyone. Wasn't that an epic battle? That Jatayu scene was really an amazing bit of creativity here. And I have to give all of them here a round of applause for putting that together and keeping us guessing as to what was going to happen next. It was absolutely wonderful. I'm happy to see as many people who have turned up as are here tonight. And you have in fact been graced by not only a wonderful presentation, but by excellent narration as well. So give them a round of applause as well. As we bring the curtains down on tonight, I want us to think how far we ourselves are in our minds with the story and the Katha of Sri Ram, and what is our journey, and who are we looking for in this life? What are we going to do, and how are we going to achieve it? These are all very salient, very important questions that arise. We don't always recognize that those are questions that are arising. But these are questions I'm asking you to think about. And I'm also asking you to come tomorrow night as we close and we draw the curtains down on tomorrow's night's performance. And that will be a grand affair. I am pretty sure it will be absolutely grand. So as I ask us all now to put our hands together in our closing prayer, I ask us to put our hearts and our minds, focus our thoughts, and we ask Bhagwan, Hey Prabhu, if in any way we've made any mistakes in the portrayal of your Katha tonight, please forgive us. What we have missed in terms of any content we've made up for in terms of our love for you. And this entire presentation is in fact an offering to you. And as I close with this prayer, recognizing that you are the ocean of peace, I ask you to continue to bless us all and keep us strong and bring us safely here tomorrow. Om Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Virdhyanagamyam Vande Vishnu Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokekanatham. त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम। प्रेम से बोल सियापति रामचंद्र की, पवन पुत्र हनुमान की, उमापति महादेव की, वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की, सर्वदेव सर्वदेवी की, सत्य सनातन धर्म की, सदगुरु की धन्यवाद। जय जय सीताराम सीताराम एवरीवन। Have a great afternoon, evening. Be safe to your homes and see you here again tomorrow. Jai Shri Ram.